Salams and welcome. Thank you for joining me in another episode of the Quran in English Basics for Beginners. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. We are beginning now with chapter 83 of the Quran, Surah Al-Mutaffifin, those who deal in fraud, comprising 36 verses. Looking at the summary from Sayyid Maulana Abul Ala Maududi Rahmatullah Alayhi from the Tafhim al-Quran, the meaning of the Quran. The name of the chapter is derived from the very first verse, Wailul lil Mutaffifin, and the period of revelation in the earliest stage at Mecca. Okay, let's try and read this. There seems to be some interesting notes here. The style of the chapter and its subject matter clearly shows that it was revealed in the earliest stage at Mecca, when surah after surah was being revealed to impress the doctrine of the hereafter on the people's minds. This chapter was revealed when they had started ridiculing the Muslims and disgracing them publicly in the streets and in their assemblies, but persecution and manhandling had not yet started very seriously. Some commentators regard this as a Medina surah, and this misunderstanding as now. So that's why I skipped this part, because when it comes to academic discussion or debate among scholars, I leave that in the domain of the scholars, because I'm not part of the ulama. If you are interested in that, you can read that, but it's simply just academic discussion. We're more interested in the lessons that we can derive, right? So the theme and subject matter. In the first 6 verses, the people have been taken to task for the prevalent evil practice in their commercial dealings. When they had to receive their due from others, they demanded that it be given in full. But when they had to measure away for others, they would give less than what was due. If someone is owing you 100 Rand, and they only pay you 95 Rand. You say, hey, I want my other 5 Rand. Where's my other 5 Rand? I want my money now, the full amount. But when you are owing someone else money, you give them 20 Rand, then 10 Rand, then 5 Rand. So when you want to give, you are very stingy in giving. You are very stingy in fulfilling your duties. But you are demanding your rights. This is where the people have the problem, right? Taking this one evil as an example out of many, many evils prevalent in society, it has been said that it is an inevitable result of the heedlessness of the hereafter. And we're finding it today. I mean, you'll have a scammer or a hacker on the internet, and we find it so sad stories that people sitting in Bangladesh or Pakistan or India or other areas of the world, they pretend to be professional call centers from Amazon or your TV or your local bank, and then they say, lady, and they phone old vulnerable people and they say, you haven't paid your due. If you're not going to pay, we're going to cut your services and so on. And people are transferring money to these people. These scam artists, they think no one knows who they are. They are forgetting that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching everything that they are doing, and the angels are recording. Now, for people to do criminal activities like this, it is obvious they don't believe in the hereafter. It is obvious they don't care about God. If you murder someone, you don't care about God. If you rape someone, it means you don't care about God. If you are part of an honorable member of parliament and you're accepting bribery, it means you don't care about God. If you're a criminal in government or a criminal in a street, it means you don't care about God. You don't care about the day of judgment. That is why crime occurs. And that is why for our beautiful country, South Africa, with our high rate of murder and rape and HIV/AIDS and government corruption and so on, we desperately need Islam. Not only Islam, but you must never ever remove God from the equation of your life. If you remove God from the equation of your life, that is the beginning of the collapse of any civilization. You will see advanced countries, whether it is America or Britain, whoever it is, once they become so advanced, then they start forgetting about God, and that is the beginning of their downfall. So unless the people realize that one day they would have to appear before God and account for each and every act they had performed in the world, it was not possible that they would adopt piety and righteousness in their daily affairs. Even if a person might practice honesty in some of his less important dealings, he would never practice honesty. I'm looking for my mouse. On occasions where dishonesty would seem to be the best policy. Man can develop true and enduring honesty, and by using man, we're referring to mankind, men and women, only when they fear God and sincerely believe in the day of accountability, the day of judgment, the hereafter, when it's guaranteed everyone will be brought back to life again and all their crimes will be revealed. For then he or she would regard honesty not merely as honesty is the best policy, but they would regard honesty as an absolute duty and an obligation, and his being constant in it or otherwise would not be dependent on its being useful or useless in the world. After making explicit the relation between morality and the doctrine of the hereafter in an effective and impressive way, verses 7 to 17, it has been said, the deeds of the wicked are already being recorded in the blacklist of the culprits, and in the hereafter they will meet with utter ruin. Then in verses 18 to 28, the best end of the virtuous has been described, and it has been laid that their deeds are being recorded in the list of the exalted people on which are appointed the angels nearest to Allah. In conclusion, the believers have been consoled that the disbelievers warned, as if to say, the believers have been consoled and the disbelievers have been warned. The people who are disgracing and humiliating the believers today are actually culprits who, on the day of judgment, on resurrection day, these disbelievers will meet with a most evil end in consequence of their conduct and behavior while they were on the planet Earth, and these very believers, on the other hand, will feel comforted when they see their fate. Stay well, look after yourself. Alhamdulillah.